How's it going, everybody? This is Dominic Minchella. I am the Kansas City Chiefs beat writer on SI and the host of the Kansas City Chiefs Insider Podcast. Thank you guys so much for stopping in, as always. While we've been covering a lot of projections for draft picks, wide receivers, as well as covering OTAs and their progression, I want to take a fun route into like a little segment, right? And I wanted to do a Chiefs Hall of Fame tracker for the current players that are on the roster and their possibility, likelihood of them getting into the Hall of Fame. We can do a part one and a part two if you guys like it. Let me know down in the comments if you want to see more of this. But I think that, and I'll talk about OTAs should it hit a player that comes up. And without further ado, I think let's get into it. I have two categories. There's an obvious answer, and then there's the getting there answer. So we're going to start with the obvious. And nothing gets more obvious than a Hall of Fame career already, while he's not even 30 years old, in Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes is coming back stronger than ever. He did not like what was said about him at the end of the last season, saying that he's not the same. He's not on the same level as Tom Brady and all that. And to that, I think that so far in this offseason, we've seen a completely different version of Patrick Mahomes that we haven't seen yet. And that's scary because Patrick Mahomes is only going to get more mature, and he was great throughout his first 8 seasons in the NFL. Throughout OTAs, he's been there working with the players, working on himself and getting his skills ready and prepared for the upcoming training camp. I mean, he's throwing behind the back passes. Patrick Mahomes has not missed a beat, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be a problem. I think that there will be a true conversation of him earning another MVP award this season if he does keep up what he's showing us in OTAs. And now I know you're saying this is so long from now, but Patrick Mahomes, if he's healthy, I think that he always has a chance to be within the MVP category. That being said, though, he is for sure already a Hall of Famer. In less than a decade, he has over 32,000 passing yards, 245 touchdowns in the regular season. He's won 3 Super Bowls. He took a team last season that Kansas City had, and they were down in the dumps. Let me tell you, compared to last year's roster to this year's roster, I think that this year's roster blows the other roster out of the water. And last year's roster went to the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes, that just shows how good he is. And I think that it's going to more progress in time. I'm excited to see what all in all is said and done when Patrick Mahomes hangs up the cleats. Maybe he'll be up there tied with Tom Brady for the most Super Bowl championships. Maybe he surpasses him. I think that will be super, that's an intriguing thing to watch for the rest of his career. Secondly, on the obvious answers, tight end Travis Kelce. This guy has turned himself into a household name. He's re-envisioned what it means to be a tight end. He's had continuous 1,000-yard or more receiving yard seasons. While these last 2 seasons, he's taken a step back just due to his age. Travis Kelce is still going out there and performing like one of the best on the field. I know that I've talked about him saying that he doesn't have as much as he has anymore, but that doesn't mean that he's still not a terrific player. He has led Kansas City in receiving yards for numerous seasons in a row. And, as long as Patrick Mahomes and him are on the same roster, it's just going to be a problem for defenses to stop. That being said, though, he leads Kansas City in all-time receiving yards. He's the first tight end with more than 1,000 receiving yards past the age 33 season. He's won 3 Super Bowl championships. He's marketable. People want to come and see him. He's a multi-time All-Pro and Pro Bowler. This guy is one of the best tight ends to play football as he's approaching, top 3 territory in the conversation all time. And that in itself is deserving of a Hall of Fame career. Whenever, and it could be sooner rather than later, who knows if he's going to hang up the cleats or not after this season. There's been talk, there's been not talk. It's a possibility, just an age and his contract's coming to an end. But at the same time, from what we've heard, Patrick Mahomes and everyone else thinks that he still has enough in the tank to keep going. I think that it depends on how this season goes. Let's just leave it at that. And then Chris Jones. I mean, this guy is a 6-time Pro Bowler, 3-time All-Pro. He's got countless quarterback sacks. He's a beast in the playoffs for Kansas City, and he has been. Chris Jones is a for sure guy that I think is already going to get into the Hall of Fame. There's not a whole lot of guys at his position who can keep the type of consistency that he has over several seasons. I think that it is a huge tell as to the person and player that he is, right? Since 2016 in debuting with Kansas City, he's been one of the best guys. He can play several positions. He's shown that. He's always in the Defensive Player of the Year conversation. He's a guy that is a good guy to build this defense around, and I think Steve Spagnuolo has only loved having him on the roster. I think that he is a for sure obvious Hall of Famer. And sticking with Steve Spagnuolo, I think that, I don't know if this is obvious, but I think that there's a true chance that Steve Spagnuolo can find his way into the Hall of Fame. I know that there's been conversations about it. He has wanting to stay in Kansas City. He's thriving in Kansas City. He's one of the best defensive coordinators, if not the best defensive coordinator going into the 2025 season. He's a guy that should be on this list, as well as head coach Andy Reid. I mean, his statistics speak for himself. He's one of the best head coaches in NFL history and currently one of the best going right now. I think that Andy Reid is still that best head coach, even at his age, going into the 2025 season. Let's get into the getting there category. And this one is I think if he keeps up this kind of production for the foreseeable future, he's easily going to slide into the obvious category, and that's center Creed Humphrey. I mean, let me just read you his statistics. You know him if you are in how he is as a player. He's already a 2-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time All-Pro, 3-time Pro Bowler. He's started and played in all 68 games of his seasons. He's the highest paid center, and he's done all of this at just 25 years old. This guy is a franchise pillar. He's been paid. You got to keep him around as long as you have him there. The center position is filled. This guy is legit. And I think that the more that you move forward, it's going to get into more conversations. There are other players that could enter the getting there category. But when I was looking at, a bunch of statistics and all that, there's still so much career left to be played for these guys, right? I think Trent McDuffie can slowly enter himself into the getting there category. He's had terrific season after terrific season, 2-time Super Bowl champion as a cornerback. I mean, and he's playing a variety of positions throughout his career. He's been the real deal. He's a guy that you could toss in there. And depending on how Josh Simmons is, I mean, he could probably have a conversation down the line, He was a top prospect coming out into the draft. And depending on how he stays healthy, if that left knee is just the only problem that he has in his career, his big frame and the positive outcomes that he's already been given through the system of Kansas City, I think that he has a chance of sliding into the conversation in the future, not now, in the future of being discussed for a Hall of Fame career. He just has that special talent that I'm excited to see play at Arrowhead. That being said, guys, that's going to wrap up today's episode. Let me know what you thought. I can definitely do more. Those are just my for sure players that I think easily slide into the Hall of Fame category. While there's multiple others, I think that it adds to their careers that they've played longer. They've stuck with Kansas City. They've won with Kansas City. A lot of the premier players. There could be guys that, have exceeded their time with Kansas City and have gone elsewhere that could be thrown in to this conversation. But let's just stick with the roster currently going into the 2025 season. That being said, guys, check out the ticker down below. You can follow me on X at Dom Minchella. I post and repost every single day, as well as follow us at KC Chiefs on SI over on X. All of our stories get posted there, and you don't want to miss any of our coverage as we continue getting closer to the 2025 NFL campaign. That being said, Chiefs Kingdom, be kind to one another, and I'll see you tomorrow.